I'm back! Right? It's like, can you imagine just like pop it on the screen at that moment and be like,
Okay.
yeah! Like,
All right, everybody, we're live
damn you,
for the
copyright.
world.
Oh, it's
Hey,
in the
everybody.
saddle.
It's the last episode
Hey,
of Castle
welcome.
Rock Season 1, and our...
You guys made it.
Yeah, we've done it. Did it.
You made it. We made it. We made it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody who's been donating and watching, donating to the St. Baldrick's Foundation. Still
It's a
taking
great
donations.
cause.
Yeah.
Really appreciate all of
Yeah.
it very much.
Tell your friends, donate in the next hour. Or if we get $500, I'll shave my head right here live on the stream.
That's really the one that matters too. Let's be, you know what I mean? Like AJ, you know what I mean? Like the stretch goal for Chad would have been fun too, but
Yeah.
let's
That's a little bit still far off. Let's concentrate on getting to David.
Yeah. And of course, Joe Lewis will shave his afro off when we make $500,000 in donations.
Woo!
So don't forget about that, everyone. We're almost there.
Man.
All right. Let's start Season 1, Episode 10,
All right,
Romans.
so-
Go ahead and get ready to hit play on your Hulu. And we'll do it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes.
And also, I am celebrating the fact that we made it through another marathon. Coke with real sugar.
Nice.
Oh, shit. Nice.
The good stuff.
Yeah. That's still how I refer to my bachelor party.
The man must have his vices.
It's the time we got together and we binge drank full sugar Cokes and played Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Nothing better.
Yeah.
It was great.
For sure.
So yeah, viewers.
It does taste good.
Yeah. Nothing like it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so while this is popping up, we can kind of get into what we saw on the end of the last episode while we're watching what's happening here.
Right?
We're back in our reality. Last episode was a mindfuck. We have
Yeah.
this sideways thing that's going on. But in the Stephen King universe, there are things called thinnies. And like if you're familiar with the Dark Tower books, some of us here are, there are thinnies all over that. But basically, just to kind of bring it on home a little correctly, a thinny, as defined by the Stephen King wiki, you can kind of jump in. It says a thinny is a weak spot in reality where the fabric of all worlds has been worn thin. Thinnies have the appearance of large blobs of mercury and emit a warbling sound similar to a musical saw that can set a person's teeth on edge or hypnotize a person.
Ooh.
So, besides the instantly inducing buzzing and warbling sound that thinny plays on a person's thoughts, telling them what they want to hear and promising a fine outcome, though death is ultimately more likely. Into other universes is possible by walking into a thing, but it's a rare outcome. So this is what we're looking at here. This thing makes its appearance in the Dark Tower. Or you can kind of jump between reality. That's kind of what the show is playing with here, which is something that that we're seeing outplay. We don't see like the visual of like the mercury or whatever, but everything else is kind of pretty much there. So this is actually a means of transport, but we're kind of seeing it here. But it seems like wherever they are in that thin veiled part of broke down reality, it's not only just them, because we saw that girl with the knife who was holding onto it in the woods in that dress. There was also those two prisoners trying to escape. They're shackled up together.
Yeah.
They're also there. So it's this convergence almost. All this stuff is happening, but also too, what seems to be a show invention is like if all that stuff we're believing now is to be true, that there's an element of time travel built into the thinnies. When if you read any of the actual novels that Stephen King puts out, there's not really a time element to it. It's just a means of transferring between realities.
Right. I figure different. If you have an unlimited number of realities, then there are plenty of realities that are also shifted in time
Oh
from
yeah,
where you want to
you're
be.
right.
Right.
But what makes his character so crazy is he didn't exist in this reality
Right.
until he came through.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So in that sense, he's always there. But like, do you know what I mean? But that's why there's not another version of him in this, right? It's not
Right.
sideways for him. He's
Mhm.
just he's an actual person from another reality pulled into this reality, not this reality's version of him.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's his own sideways reality stepson.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Crazy.
The thing that I'm really curious about is how does it explain all of the bad stuff that follows him everywhere?
Right.
And it's not just when people touch him, because the birthday party that he went to, like, he didn't touch anyone at that party before they started attacking each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's a good
It
question.
was just there. It was just
Glad you
around,
mentioned that.
like that cloud of
Yeah, is it
negativity.
like some sort of remnant about moving from reality to reality?
And
like-
why would that?
Does it
remnant be
disturb
to
like
cause
people's
chaos?
minds that he's from somewhere else?
Yeah. So it's that Inception thing again, where it's like he doesn't. Something in the universe knows that he's not supposed to be there, so it
Oh,
everything up.
yeah.
Interesting.
You know what? He even because people kind of had that, and he's always been that sort of character, right? He had that outsider or orphan thing from the get go.
Yeah.
Like when he's talking to that girl when he's young, he's just like, oh, they're not my real mom and dad, and she's like, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that you're right, that persists. Like even when he came back to town that first time, I just remember like the way people looked at him, like, you don't belong here.
Right.
And at first we think it's just like a race thing, but
Right.
like maybe it's like there is like that also, like he really doesn't belong
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. Weird. This show is awesome.
What minute mark? I'm sorry. What minute mark are we at? Are you guys at?
I am at
5.
6:05.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Wait, you're at 5 something, Dave?
Yeah, I just hit 6:02 right now, so I'm about 10 seconds behind you,
Okay.
Chad.
I can only
Alright,
see
well,
how
just
much
hit
time I have
rewind
remaining.
10 seconds. If you move the cursor so that it's over where the dot is.
Oh, yeah, I'm on an iPad though, so if I touch it with my hand, it's gonna stop it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How much
I
time do you
have-
have left?
I have 45:19 remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Anthony's
Okay.
between you and me, Dave.
Yeah, he's right around.
Okay.
About 2
That's
seconds
cool.
ahead
Close
of me.
enough.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're all pretty close.
Yeah.
Except for AJ, who I
Okay,
think is
that's
watching a different episode altogether.
Watching season 2.
He's
Yeah.
in another reality, man. He stepped through a thinny just a second ago where he was watching. We're watching a completely different
Yeah.
show.
He's watching
Yeah.
We're
Fraggle
watching all the
Rock.
Korean people
Yeah.
on Hawaii Five-0.
Ooh.
Okay.
I guess not all the Korean people. It's
Oh,
just Jin, yeah,
Yeah.
is on Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
Few
What's got?
others.
What's her name? Grace
wait.
Park
Okay.
from Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica,
Oh.
yeah.
Although I think they both left the show like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both left. Daniel Day Park started The Good Doctor
Hmm.
as a producer, and he's done other like producing stuff,
Yeah.
TV and movies.
Yeah.
But like it seems like his main thing has been producing since he left
Does this happen?
5-0.
Oh, interesting.
The way to go. That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell Grace Park did after she
I
left
don't
5-0.
All I know is
Gained
that
weight.
Daniel Day Kim probably just needed to get off of the island because he didn't want to fight me that
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah,
She finally ate a cheeseburger.
yeah. It's like I goddamn hope she gained weight. She looked like she weighed 80 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
damn.
Like she had ice cream for the first time. It blew her mind.
It's so crazy. We're talking about these thinnies. There's also another element of it. There's something that is described in mostly the Dark Tower books, but it kind of filters out through King's Universe. Where like when they talk about the thinny is that small pressing in reality where you can poke your way into another reality. But also too, besides all these this multiverse of realities within the King's Universe, there's also like a complete darkness that is possible to enter, and that's not part of any of the universes. It's like the way it's described in the books. It's called Toadash darkness, and the Toadash darkness is like it's described as like the spaces within a house that you don't see. So that's what it's described for. Like within the multiverse, there's this Toadash dark, and in the Toadash dark exist all these beings and creatures, which sounds kind of Lovecraftian, which it kind of is in a way.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the Toadash Dark is what gets opened up by accident in the book The Mist by Stephen King. So all these creatures.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, so that's from the Toadash Dark. But also within the Toadash Dark are super powerful creatures. They're super powerful beings that usually are of they're not of light, so they're usually they fall into the evil side of things pretty often, and they come through, and you have some. But beyond the multiverse and beyond this Toadash darkness that encompasses the King universe, there's also something called what else is there? Like there's something called the Prim, Prim. And the Prim is like the beginning of all life, or like all primordial life, or life itself, and it exists outside of the universes, but is actually like the crucible where all life and light and death come forth out of. So that also pops up in the Gunslinger series. So we have this multiverse, that's coupled alongside this Toadash Dark, which is also involves the Prim, and the Prim is like also filled and populated with all these creatures. They call them demons and spirits and all this kind of stuff. But they, out of the Prim, they can come around. But those creatures are normally incredibly old because the Prim is incredibly old.
Right.
And like, but they're I don't know if they have the same makeup as like the Toadash, where it's just like they're all evil. But those out of the Prim are like, they're like the first to experience life. I think something along those lines.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
so she doesn't have Alzheimer's, really.
Oh, so you're thinking that the idea of her being like a time traveler type of person is
yeah. Oh, I think that is definitely it. Because like, look, she was talking on that bridge just now about how like, if I just do this differently, I can change the outcomes. And it's just like, it's disorienting because she's not able to see, like, she's not able to choose exactly how she's able to travel, right? But like, knowing that you can orient yourself towards different realities by making different decisions because you're able to see different parts of the truth. I don't know. That's that's trippy.
I see.
But I guess on the outside it would appear like dementia, right? Or some form of it at least.
right.
Especially when
she thinks that, because up until this point, every time she's kind of experiencing a different timeline or whatever, she's kind of, it's that feeling of it's inevitable. This is what always happens, right? Because she mentions, the universe has done that before. So she doesn't realize she even has any agency.
In fact, one of the timelines told her that.
Yeah.
So that's what the Reverend has been chasing, and so he's taking him out because he hears a sound, and we meet that other doctor who gets killed, who's telling him, this is the sound of the universe. The sound of the universe that they're actually talking about is actually the sound of the Finny, this warbling sound.
Oh yeah, that warbling sound.
It's described by the Gunslinger in the Gunslinger series as well. It makes you feel sometimes, sick, ill, discombobulated. In this particular case, it just puts them in this trance or hypnotic state. It's kind of interesting.
But it's kind of, like, what's funny, for some reason, just when I was picturing, like, in like the Gunslinger series, like, it almost felt like, how Salvador Dali's paintings have like these kind of bleak landscapes.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was always kind of picturing them wandering through kind of surrealistic landscapes, like a Dali painting. You know, but like this is very much grounded in like the imagery of like New England. You know, which is kind of cool, right? That they're able to like have this sort of like these, like I said, these time travelers, these reality people, but like it's kind of grounded in like I don't know, like. Whoa! Oh yeah, there's the birds.
Yeah, and knowing that it's Stephen King, where else would it be grounded in?
Yeah.
By the way, Grace Park is on the. Oh.
What?
Are you? Can you hear?
Oh wait.
One sec.
Okay.
Yeah, am I the one that no one can hear? No one can hear me?
I can hear you.
I
can hear you.
Okay. I can hear you.
Okay, so it was just Anthony that couldn't hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were saying about Grace Park?
Oh, she is on the show A Million Little Things. And she's actually been on there since a year after she left 5-0.
That's good.
So she's had a continuous career.
Yeah.
Oh, good for her.
It's just none of us watched that show.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear a cat. So this is insane right here. Henry Deaver, he crashed his car into these bricks and like construction material on the road. And then all these birds died. Some dude walking down the street knocks on his window, shows him a dead bird, and is like, yo man, this shit's happening all over town. And then walks away. Nothing about, hey man, you crashed your car into this thing of bricks. Are you okay? None of that.
No, first he had to complain about global warming.
Yeah. Which is all, those are all just plot points from Birdemic.
It's the thinning sound.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's the thinning. Is thinning related to Thinner, which was also a Stephen King story, right?
Thinner is a Stephen King book, but they're totally unrelated.
No.
Basically, the Thinner is what in that book. That's what a
gypsy curse.
Witch curse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an old witch curse. So, yeah, it's just an old gypsy curse from a man whose daughter gets killed by this attorney, and the attorney thinks that he can kind of get it covered up because he knows judges and all this kind of stuff, and he does, and that family doesn't get justice from the courts. So what the patriarch does is, in order to seek vengeance for his daughter, he curses the attorney to lose weight, and he keeps going until he's, until he dies.
Right. And all of like that extra fat and stuff that's coming out of his body is being transporting through a thinny into it's like a field in rural Maine. Yeah.
Like what we think of as magic is ancient technology, because that's kind of the themes that they touch upon in the Gunslinger too. Because there's giant robot bears. There's like a giant robot bear. There's like a giant. There's a few other shit that comes crashing through. There's a train that has incredible AI that's trying to kill everybody. It's there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So we.
But yeah, like.
What's that?
So. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, they're saying the cops. They found the camper with Rory McCulkin. Rory Culkin. And the dead guy who's got stabbed through the face. Also, who do you think killed him? That guy. He got stabbed through the head with the poker.
I think they try to make it as obvious as they can. Like, I think at first they were trying to make it like it could have been anybody, but it was just his interpreter.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think it is his interpreter.
Yeah, that's what I think.
His interpreter. Yeah, because like the interpreter was because the doctor was threatening to remove his hearing as well, because the doctor was searching for this sound of the universe.
Right.
So he's like, he ain't taking my ears. I'll stab you in the eye with this poker.
I didn't make that connection with it. I just totally forgot. It's like, oh yeah, he's his loyal servant / interpreter, but no, he didn't want to get his hearing taken out.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that guy's gone, but he was also insane. Also, another recurring theme that pops up in a lot of Stephen King books is the idea of religion. and usually a religious authority figure like a priest or a deacon or a reverend or whatever. And in this particular case, we got the hair, we got the father in this one, which is a reverend in both realities.
Right. Yeah, that, and then you see the same thing in Silver Bullet. Just to bring Silver Bullet up once more. There's a priest who's the bad guy, the werewolf.
Oh, right.
With a baseball bat.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. What else was there? Also too, like within the King universe, we can kind of talk about this now because we're already at the finale. There's a multitude of Earths and all this kind of stuff. But with the universe, the universe in which things are happening, what they consider the real Earth is what they call Keystone Earth. And Keystone Earth is supposed to be, I guess it's the Earth that's found within the Dark Tower books. But the Dark Tower books are a little bit different because of it's not our reality. It's just a separate one. But they consider that the main. And that's what they call Keystone Earth, which is actually name checked in the Dark Tower movie with Idris Elba, which is a terrible, terrible movie. They made that movie
I still need to watch
that. What a disappointment.
Yeah, because like the books are insanely good. Like the books will keep you like turning pages, but the movie is just like you got Matthew McConaughey, Idris Elba, and just nobody can make it work.
No,
nobody can make it work.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, plus it was like a terrible script. Like they had a super shitty script, and they ended up jamming all 7 books into one movie. They took elements from all 7 books. Yeah, so like if you have a book, and like every book is huge, which has this crazy world building stuff and characters running into each other and everything, but like they smashed everything together in that movie, all 7 movies worth. 7 books worth, and it's like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is there X here and why there is all?
It's like the opposite of The Hobbit, where they took one short book and made 4 movies or whatever it was.
7 movies.
Yeah.
Somehow managed to, wow.
No, yeah. So,
because you know what happened, right? Some fanboy was like, what happens if like the Battle of 7 Armies was just like a whole movie by itself, bro? Because someone wanted to do that back in the day with like the original Lord of the Rings movies. Like, can't we just make the battle the whole movie? It's like, oh boy.
Have you guys ever seen that thing where like they go into like the idea of how they went about making the fight for Lord of the Rings? Where like there has to be like, I forget where they got the information from, but there's like some other film, some successful film that it was based off of, where like in the beginning of the battle you have to show them prepping for the battle, and then before the battle kicks off. So like you have a lot of that in Lord of the Rings. But they also did that in Game of Thrones, where they show them prepping for the battle that we're gonna see later on, and we won't talk about. But like like the idea is like within a successful story battle, there always has to be the prep that you see, or they're like reading like cannonballs and guns and whatever.
Yeah.
And then like you have the main action, and then you have the falling action after everything's done, and they're just like burning bodies and shit. But,
yeah.
So that bus thing was crazy.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up. Warden brought that soap figurine that she found in her house that the kid made and left in her house for her to find. She brought that to Molly, and then killed herself. And stepped in front of her own prison bus.
No,
that's so gnarly.
Crazy.
Phone call.
Yeah, who do you think he called?
That's a good question. Whoa.
The natives are getting restless.
Yeah.
Whoa.
this is what we're seeing here. She's gone. She's dead. Did we see her physically touch White Henry Deaver?
No, he just left the little soap figurine in her house that she found, and that was enough for her to be affected by him, I guess.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
the cop was trying to accuse Black Henry Deaver of causing the chaos everywhere he goes.
Yeah, so maybe we think it's this other dude, but it's actually just
maybe it's
Black
just
Henry
a town.
Deaver.
Yeah.
Or it could be, yeah.
Like I thought White Henry Deaver was a curse on the town, but it could be like the town was already like that.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep. No, totally.
Yeah. Whole town's being cursed.
Yeah. And they show, like, in one of the first couple of episodes, like, all the people that have died just in Locke's house. Or Warden Lee's
Right.
house.
Yeah, they talk about that.
Yeah.
Tragedy,
You can see that it goes back through to olden times, that lady in the woods with the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it has to do with it. Maybe they're some sort of focus for that.
It's
Whatever.
It's kind of interesting though, because like even in like the it that it I guess that lore or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's something that wants mayhem and evil, and it will definitely get you, but it needs your participation. Right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, part of it was it like attacking, but it kind of like needed their fear. It needed their, it's kind of like, I guess that's sort of like, I don't know, the fairness of it, but like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Like these people, like they seem like they're just victims, but obviously like everybody's got a different role to play. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear what you mean.
Because sometimes like a scary thing, like say like a werewolf, right? It's just this relentless monster coming after you, but like there's some sort of like cosmic balance to like all the shenanigans that's happening, So it's not exactly like they're just being stalked. They're just a part of something like larger than themselves that they can't see.
Yeah, I hear what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's I agree with that.
Yeah. They're part of the big machine turning. They're just one of the wheels in there.
Yeah, it's just hard to know how you fit in.
A cog.
This episode feels way slower than the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like last episode, it built up to the point where we finally are like, oh shit.
Right.
But even from the beginning, like there was still like movement forward, whereas this episode sort of feels like it's just like
Wait, what the hell are they arresting him for?
Oh, well, that woman stepped in front of a prison bus, and they know that something is odd with him.
Right. Yeah, well, he escaped from the mental institution.
Escaped from the mental institution, which got torched.
Yeah.
Then, several people died.
Yeah. And
who's Deaver Boy?
That Ruth and Henry Deaver's parents, they had a child who died early or maybe stillborn or something, and that's why they adopted him. Because they mentioned earlier, like they had a child who died. Him? I think that's supposed to be him in this timeline. Right?
Yeah.
And in the other timeline,
that's what it is.
Right.
He was the actual son of the Deavers, and in one timeline, and this is the timeline where he died. How did he die?
They didn't say, as far as I know. Probably probably Pennywise ate him in a sewer or something. Or a Bigfoot.
Like like when they talk about it, Pennywise the clown, or generally it, like that is a creature who they mention specifically in the books likes to scare his victims and hunts particularly just in one spot, which is in Derry. It's like his own like private. It's like his own private hunting pin. But his whole thing is like he needs to instill fear in whatever he's eating. Not that he has to, but he wants to because the way it's described in the books, it's like it's salting the meat. It's what gives it its flavor. So that's how he gets his whole meals, done in.
It's like salting the meat.
insulting to me.
How much
Peanut
you
butter
got left?
Snickers. I would say less than half of the bag. Let me count off the pieces after I eat this one. But I think I've eaten over a pound of candy today, even though I haven't eaten the whole bag.
Yeah. Nice.
I should have weighed it, but no.
You can look at the bag.
Well, no. Not bad.
Yeah, it's approximately 55 pieces with
Maybe it'll say some sort of weight information.
Oh yeah, it says 2 pounds and 0.2 ounces, 32.2 ounces. A little over 2 pounds.
So you've eaten
over
definitely
half.
more than a pound of candy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, so 25 out of 55 pieces, so over half. So yeah, a little more than a pound of candy today.
I thought it was 25 out of 55.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Okay,
so
so
not
you
half.
ate
Not
30.
half. No, I ate 25, my bad. So yeah, not halfway there
Okay,
yet.
so you didn't eat half.
I still need 7 more pieces? No, wait. 55, 75, half of that, 56, 57. Like 2 more pieces, right? 2 or 3 more pieces?
Eat 3 to be safe.
Yeah. Then I'll have in the half.
And then you are over the halfway point.
All right. And that's a pretty good Halloween, I'd say.
Where did they find him locked up? Black Henry Deaver?
Where did they find
In
it?
the basement of the
Yeah.
Deaver house.
In the basement of the Deaver house.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then in the other reality, the White Henry Deaver was found in the prison.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Taken there by Lacey, who was also very he was praying to God, and he was very Christianed out.
Yeah.
The Reverend who had kept Black Henry Deaver in that cage, in that darkness, probably. Which I'm wondering if that little boy Henry Deaver had to endure 27 years of being locked up in that cage too, and because of the effects of the thing, he didn't age, didn't have to get hungry or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Just ate white bread.
Yeah. Stayed alive on his white bread kicks.
Yep.
So that would make him not even the age that he's at now. Like if you're watching this, he's 38 or something. It'll be 38 plus the 27 years of him being in that fucking prison.
So he doesn't remember that when he was little.
Yeah, he doesn't remember.
I don't think he remembers anything.
Whoa.
Yeah. Also, too, if we're playing off of that, he doesn't remember anything. 27 years of him being locked up in a dark cage hole, and then coming back up, growing up to be an attorney that gets people off the death row, because I guess that's him trying to get himself off because he's been stuck in, or trying to free himself from being stuck for 27 years in a dungeon.
Yeah. Getting people out of cages. That's his goal.
That's his whole thing.
But he was adopted before the day that they found him out in the wilderness.
Right. Yeah, he was adopted earlier than that. And then when the Reverend tried to kill himself and he heard the voice of God, and then he took the family. He kept taking him out into the woods after that. And at some point, I guess he hears it, and that's what gets him through the spinning. Right?
Yeah.
And that's when he transfers. He gets caught on the other side.
Dude, this show is such a trip.
Okay. All I have to do is eat 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 M&Ms, and I'll be where I want to be today. Yeah.
Going for M&Ms. You can eat 10 M&Ms.
Yeah, 10 M&Ms easy.
You can do it.
I got 20 minutes. I can do it.
10 M&Ms.
Are those peanut M&Ms? Regular M&Ms?
Peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh wow, even more delicious.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
I like this scene This is interesting to watch in the season finale.
Yeah.
If you gave someone a peanut butter M&M and a Reese's Pieces, do you think they'd be able to tell the difference?
Because peanut butter M&Ms have chocolate in there. So you got peanut butter and then there's chocolate around it, and then the candy shell. Whereas the Reese's Pieces just the peanut butter and the candy.
Peanut butter.
I thought about this earlier this week.
And there's my chess piece.
Nah. Now I want to know where I am.
Yeah, the marker.
Oh, you done killed that guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the inmates from the bus, right? They're like, we can't transport you anymore. There's a dead person here.
Right. They put him in a town jail.
Mm-hmm. Now the inmates are starting to argue amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, they're all gonna.
Like, oh, that negative Ghostbusters 2 pink goo floating around, making them hate each other. Coming out of White Henry Beaver.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was a meme I saw recently. It was like, can we just, on New Year's Eve, can we all blast whatever that song was from Ghostbusters 2 to get rid of that
Oh yeah,
pink
that one was great.
hate goo ooze flowing under the country right now.
I wonder what the sometimes those ideas sound really crazy, right? But what do you think what would be the cost of trying? Like if we really went for it. Because the cost was
trying?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
Like like we all chuckle about it, but we don't actually do it because we don't think it's gonna work, right?
Right.
But if it could work, like, and let's say it didn't work out. We tried it, but it didn't work out. How bad would we be in a lot worse shape? You think if we tried?
No, I don't think so. I think we would. The disappointment would hurt.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if people's level of disappointment that they couldn't, take out the slime or whatever, like, would that be worse than the positive effect that, playing music?
Right.
I because sometimes I think, like, same thing. I was like, we try to do, like, we've tried to do interesting things as human beings. Like, I thought Hands Across America was kind of an interesting project.
Yeah.
Like we've had cities get together and be like, all right, it's Balloon Fest. There's just gonna be lots of balloons, man.
Yeah.
And they didn't
spread
think
positivity.
They didn't think. And they don't think about the ramifications.
No,
this one, this one I don't think has really big ramifications.
Yeah.
I think you could do it. It'd be all right.
Yeah.
And if it did work, the plus side is so high.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. He's like, I'm leaving now.
Anyways, it'll also result in a lot more downloads for whoever it is that with that song.
Oh yeah. Song. Like Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're entering their new resurgence.
Yeah. You know what? You go back and listen to their jams. They've been good for a while.
Yeah.
Huey Lewis?
Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just heard you guys talking about the pink ooze earlier. So I was like, oh, are we talking about Huey Lewis? But yeah, no. Fleetwood Mac's been great for a long time. I listen to Rumors in full at least once a year.
Wow. Yeah, full albums, huh? How about
Yeah.
that experience? Where's that gone?
I mean, you can still listen to full albums now, but it's just like well, these are the obvious 3 to 4 singles, and here's all the other things that the artist thought was interesting.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make a decision to listen to a full album now. Like, that's not the default. You have to seek it out.
Mm-hmm. Some just function really well that way. Like, I noticed The Wall. It's a good start to finish listen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's sort of built for that kind of thing, I think Pink Floyd was very thoughtful about that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of other albums that are just, we've got a bunch of different songs.
Albums from like around that time, can fall into the here's like 3 or 4 really good songs and other things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although, you know what tripped me out? Like, I was on mushrooms once, and I listened to Abbey Road.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like an experience.
It felt like a story.
Yeah, it felt like an experience. Like, there's a start, middle, and an end.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, interesting.
Like, that was definitely the happiest part of that experience. Like, once the Beatles turned off, I had to start to navigate reality again, and that was much trickier. You know what I mean? Like, the Beatles are choreographing reality for you. It's kind of a fun time, but yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here we go. What's happening? What you gonna do?
Got the Reverend standing on the edge of a cliff, looking for Henry.
Well, we know he ends up on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do know that. But we want to know why, right?
Yeah.
We don't know that yet.
The birds.
Oh, he did. He did totally push him.
Yeah.
But that's because he had been locking him up.
Yeah.
What?
He's got nearly 3 decades of captivity and basically torture.
Yeah. He's like, that's for locking me up for 27 years as a kid.
Literally longer than his whole life up to that. Like twice as long as his life up to that point as a kid.
It's crazy.
Spent 2/3 of his life in a cage. It's nuts.
And he had just come from that other reality.
Yeah, he had just come from, so he was
Whoa,
willing
what?
to kill him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened? Did my iPad just die? What's going on?
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
No, just a very long Fade to Black.
Oh,
To
wow.
fuck
This
with
is a
us.
very long page.
It is long.
It's like Return of the King. The 15 different endings.
That's great.
Oh,
So-
that's interesting.
We get him trying to get him back to the Finny. He knocks the gun out of his hand. He looks back and he sees an old man. What the fuck do you guys
Was
I
it
know.
old man? I
Yeah.
thought it was like fucking
Like a
Ice
demon
Zombie
face.
Game of Thrones make.
Yeah.
Kind of did look like that, yeah.
So that kind of becomes the question of like, what is that?
But then we skip to 1 year later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we're good here, right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, so we're in this reality.
It's been a year he's staying at the house. He didn't move back to Texas or nothing.
His
Yep.
dad is son is happy to see him.
Yeah.
They're playing the chess set. All the pieces are there.
Yeah. It's Christmas time, so this episode counts as a Christmas movie, I think, because Christmas happens. in it.
And he's
Watch
looking
this
out the
when it
window for Molly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she's still alive.
This version.
Oh yeah, this version. Yeah, that's right. Another one, she gets shot from the bullet from the sky.
Yeah. In the back.
Damn sky bullet hitting me in the stomach.
Molly Strand.
One new agent in the Keys.
Interesting.
Yep. Does anyone want a pink
Where's
house
your
like that?
brother?
He's buried in this graveyard twice.
No.
He's like, well, I did shoot him. He's like, oh, what if he was like buried right at like on top as the stillborn adult man, stillborn baby? Like, oh, weird.
Yeah, is it a crime?
Yes.
Is it the double jeopardy type of crime where like he's already dead in this world? So if you murder him and bury him in his own grave, I mean,
that
would
would
trip
forensics experts out, right? Imagine if you did that. You tested the grave of that, and you're like, damn, these aren't just similar; they're the same person.
It's an identical match. How did we get an old person and a unstillborn baby, or an adult person?
Yeah, that are the same person genetically. Whoa.
It wasn't me. It was this place.
Right.
That's what we say.
Yeah, it's the place.
Or was it the place?
Yeah, I bet if they found like the remains of like a little baby and then like a 6.5 foot tall man, I think you would just assume that like it was one person, and that was like a Siamese twin kind of thing, like a what's it called when you have that twin, a vestigial twin or whatever. It's like just stuck. Yeah. That's what I would assume if I found it.
Conjoined
twin, yeah.
Oh, he's still using it.
Did he put his brother in the cage?
Let's see.
Because at this point, I'm thinking about both the Deavers as brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's fair. I mean, they have the same parents, so that makes them brothers by every definition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brothers by adoption, they're brothers.
They're brothers with the same mother.
Yeah.
Yep, there he is.
Oh, shit. One pot for pooping, one pot for drinking. Don't confuse the two.
So, okay, and maybe you guys can rehash this for me. Why did they have to lock him up as opposed to just kill him?
What do you think, Chad, before we even jump on this?
I think that he didn't want to kill him, but he also wasn't sure how he could stop all of the bad things.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty off or somewhere. He's just gonna take the patty out.
Just eat the bun.
Okay, we're at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
This is our ending. This is where we leave these two characters. But the crazy thing is like why does he keep him caged up? The reason why Henry Deaver does keep this man caged up is because he doesn't believe him. Because everything that we've heard from that sideways reality in episode 9, our penultimate episode, was all the words that were spoken from this man to Molly Strand.
Right.
And she just kind of believed him. And we as the audience kind of believed him. And that's why this is kind of a bit of a cheat. And, because like we're believing that this is the reality because this is the reality that they presented us in the penultimate episode.
Right.
But the actuality is this is all the story that the man has told Molly and him. And Henry Deaver doesn't believe it. I mean, he doesn't believe it at all.
Yeah, because he made that crazy face at him in the woods for a split second, and that was enough for him to know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. Like, why would he make that face? Why would there be, soap carvings? And why would he seemingly take joy from what we could see off his face in the chaos and murder that was happening?
Right.
So then they leave you to believe that he is not an alternate universe Henry Deaver, but it's all a concoction so that he can get free. Essentially, they leave it up to the viewer to decide what he is. But like some viewers, some of the audience have decided that he is the devil. And some audience had decided that he was like a wizard or a dark wizard in the Stephen King universe that was trying to find his way to an alternate reality.
Right.
But he couldn't find it on his own, so he needed to find Henry. And Henry actually did live that life. Maybe he was stuck on the other side for 27 years, and then made his way back. But that has nothing to do with
that's
this
what
one.
happened. He wasn't lost in the woods for 11 days. He had teleported to the sideways reality. But
27 years.
Right.
Yeah, even though that could have been true, everything about who this other Henry Devers is could just be a makeup. He's actually just it. He's just a clown. He's just he's
right.
to trick his way
Some
into
kind of evil spirit.
house.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
Whoa.
So what do you guys think of it now that we've seen the whole thing?
Yeah.
Because the penultimate
Yeah.
puts us in a different frame of
Right.
mind versus what we see here.
The mid-credit sequence.
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
even know that. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, never mind. I didn't know that.
Then
Yeah, it's just one.
I think the creators were having so much fun with this character that they thought people would like jump on. But a lot of the audience response, from what I remember reading on Reddit, is like
Right.
they found this character kind of annoying and superfluous and not really necessary.
Yeah. I
From
think.
the naming to what she kind of goes over.
Yeah, because the name makes you go, ugh. And just as a character, it's like, because she's sort of outside of all of the stuff that's happening from
Right.
like a, almost
Right.
like a,
So
she's detached
there is
from
a
it.
script-
Yeah.
yeah, this is kind of. There's a scripture. I think it maybe flashes at some point in the series, but it's a scripture out of the Bible in John chapter 8, in verse 44. General scripture says, "You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is the liar and the father of lies."
Hmm.
That's it's a biblical scripture that pops up that we can kind of tie into this, but I wouldn't attribute this person as the devil. I don't know if you guys are planning on watching season 2 on your own, which I wouldn't advise, because season 2 is horrible.
Oh.
It's
Really?
Based on the mid-credit sequence, it looked like what they were gonna do was have Jackie go out to the Overlook Hotel.
Right.
And then
Deal with the ghosts.
that's where season 2 is gonna take place, and
Right.
it's gonna be elements of The Shining and stuff.
Oh, I wish it was. I wish that were the case.
Yeah,
That
that's
would
what it
be
looked
such
like.
a step up from
Yeah.
what that second season's game.
Oh man, because I think I would have enjoyed having her be the main character
Yeah.
of the show.
Okay, well, I won't spoil it, but I would say simply for me, season 2 is absolute misery.
okay.
Nah.
Yeah, I wasn't really planning on watching it.
Yeah,
I had
neither.
too much other stuff to catch up on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, save
Yeah.
yourself.
So David, you were
Alright.
excited about that ending, man.
Yeah, and I find it kind of disappointing. And that, like,
You found it kind of what?
kind of disappointing. Like, I want to, because when in the parts where it's like, oh, you guys got to make it up for yourselves, because it's like, it's one of those ones where if you choose to believe that he actually was a demon, a devil or something, some sort of liar about all of this, and that means like the last episode doesn't count. A lot of the stuff that's happened throughout this doesn't really count.
Right.
Which I don't like that as a storytelling device. We're like, oh yeah, just throw away half of what we've shown you because it was all a lie. It was all a dream.
It was a whole episode.
Yeah.
The whole episode that they showed us was this amazing idea of like transferring between worlds.
An episode we all enjoyed and were captured by. Needs to be told now that doesn't
like
count.
it'd be one thing if that was the lie, and by the end of the episode, you started to see holes
Right.
that made it like fall apart. Where you're like, yeah, no, I think he's lying.
Right.
But it's just like, we're gonna present this story to you. We're not gonna put anything obvious that's gonna make you be like, no, that this is a lie.
Right.
Like you will be able to accept this whole cloth.
Yeah. Like it
And then
totally
we'll tell
could.
you later, maybe it was a lie.
Yeah. He's giving this crazy
Why
demon
do you
face for
think-
a second. Yeah.
Why do you think?
So then, yeah. Why do you think that the the Black Henry Deaver thought it was a lie then.
Oh,
Like
Because of the face.
Yeah, so that
That
face.
was
yeah. It was the face, and it was him. There was a section we might have missed because we might have been talking, but there's a section while they're both in the prison, and Henry Deaver asks him on the other side of the prison, he's like, "Who are you?" And then he says, "Same as you." And when he says "same as you," Henry Deaver says, "Nope." And then he takes out the soap figurine carved of the woman that got hit by the prison bus, and he puts it on the bars, and he shows him it. And then that's when he kind of like steps back a little bit because because he's a little bit caught in the sense that like what is this carving of soap that I have in my hand? Why is that lady dead outside?
Right.
Because you're trying to get back to your own reality. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and so you're right. It would have almost been better if that was the truth.
Right.
And they had to kind of explain how this whole thing works. Right?
Yeah.
And why people did what they did. But you're right. Instead, it's just like there's a lot of confusion and lies and mystery. And, and a lot of it does get kind of washed away when you say like, oh yeah, he just made that part up.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff in the Queen episode, right? Where we're watching him. It's like he's chasing her around the house, but he's not really. He's not doing anything that threatening aside from being creepy looking and being around her. And it's his, in his head, it's his mother he's trying to connect with. And that's what you see sort of throughout the show up to like the last couple episodes where it's like all these bad things are happening and he's not doing bad things.
Yeah, I just made breakfast, lady. Settle down.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that
that
kind of washes away when you go, actually, he was an evil demon this whole time. Wait a second. You can't go back and rewatch it and see him innocently doing things that hurt people. Yeah.
And actually, I'll raise you another point too. In that episode, you could see him sitting outside, and as soon as he sends Pangborn on a wild goose chase to Syracuse, he comes back. It's nighttime already. Sitting on the stoop, his hands bloody, and he says, "What did you do?" And he says, "Why did you leave me in that trunk?" So it's kind of menacing to send Pangborn into like this, flurry of like emotion. And he's like darting through the house, and then we have Sissy Spacek with a loaded gun. It's all strange 3D chess, machinations on what I would imagine is this guy, if he wanted to put it on.
Oh, maybe that's why the chess was also like a good reference, right? Yeah. The idea of setting up things in advance, one move. Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
But people hated this ending. Like they're just like, what the fuck? He wasn't from another dimension, what's with the smile? And the smile is to clue you in. And also too, the smile kind of clues you in that like this is a supernatural being, and it's Stephen King's universe. These supernatural beings, they don't have the same lifespan and reasoning as human beings because they live for so long. They can dick around with 70 years in a cage, and it doesn't mean anything to them. Because you're spending your entire life watching over me, and that's what we get out of Warden Lacey in the penultimate or in the final episode, where he says, "I never had children because I decided to watch over you this whole time." So it's like he's called like who really is the imprisoned person is like the thing, and then we see Henry Deaver in the end doing this and carrying this out. But to what end? Like 70 years and then you're dead at old age as a human versus 70 years and you're some kind of supernatural entity that can fuck those years off because you live for thousands upon thousands of years.
Okay, so then why did Lacey kill himself then?
Because he touched him.
Oh.
And any person they show having any physical touch or contact with this being would they kind of go into this murder rage. The character in this, I believe, they're trying to make it where you can kind of believe whatever you want.
Right.
But since we're getting towards the end of this, you can kind of just call the character out. The character exists in the Stephen King universe. It's called the Angel, and the Angel is like this otherworldly creature that brings chaos wherever it goes. Essentially, that's its whole vibe. So the whole thing we've seen him do is basically what the Angel is. And the Angel, I don't think has a big part in the King universe. It might be a short story somewhere, but yeah, there's that.
But this is gonna be interesting because sort of fortunate for me. Like Shay hasn't watched this, and I know she likes this kind of stuff. So I will probably end up going through all these episodes again.
Right.
So it'll be kind of cool watching it now, seeing if I can see clues to give me a hint as to what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Sweet.
So this is kind of neat. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, and then also there's a season 2 if you're interested in that. Season 2, my mom told me she really liked. So if you're looking at TV picks, AJ's mom approved season 2.
Yeah.
I hated it.
You want to watch a mom show?
Yeah.
My mom loves Matt Damon.
You guys remember that movie Doubt that came out like in 2008?
I never saw it. But
Meryl Streep and
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Amy Adams is in it.
Mm.
So that, like, just like real briefly, like there's there was in the movie Doubt, like it ends on the same note where you don't know whether to believe, because essentially I think it's Amy Adams and Meryl Streep. They have suspicions of the priest and what he's doing with children and everything. And at the end, they don't answer it for you. They kind of leave it up to you, and you walk away from that movie having doubt, which I guess could play into like the idea of having like this auteur, artistic story that you kind of convey. But it really it's frustrating.
This was not the time for it.
It was. Give me answers.
There's a lot of times where having the ambiguous ending, it adds to the story.
Right.
Yeah, I can.
I kind of feel like in a case like this, the ambiguous ending is like, hey, cowards, give me a real fucking answer.
Yeah.
And then there's the usual suspects, right?
Yeah.
Guys
I don't know how.
Motherfucking soaps,
That's not very ambiguous. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, no, that wasn't ambiguous. That was just the it was the big reveal ending.
Right, yeah.
Where it's like, everything that you thought, no.
Yeah.
You don't think it was? You don't think that Kobayashi guy in the car was the dude? No, it's supposed to be Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Kevin Spacey.
I feel like it was fairly spelled out when he stopped limping.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have the whole scene where he's looking and seeing all the stuff in the room that inspired all the story parts.
Oh no, totally.
Yeah, so we get to have that as an audience too. Like, all that.
Yeah. Also, too, like with the character of the angel, like I think it's also mentioned that like just the image of the angel is enough to inspire insanity. So we see that with all the paintings that Warden Lacey did over the years, and the guy that bought his house ended up keeping the paintings and hanging them up. Like there's a power. Yeah, there's a power in just the image of the angel, and they kind of get into some of that in season 2. Towards like if you're keen to check it out, season 2 kind of covers some more angel stuff and the image of the angel.
Yeah, there's some artists that you definitely look at their stuff, and like one of the guys I really enjoy is this Hieronymus Bosch.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you've ever.
Dude, I know that name, but I only know the name.
Yeah, just go check it out. The first part I'm not so always clear on how to spell it, but it's like Bosch. Yeah, but Hieronymus Bosch. It's like got one of his paintings on my desktop, and it's one of those things that like there's some paintings that like you can't look away. There's just more and more interesting things the longer you look at it, and it's like so like. I didn't understand that at first when people would say those kinds of terms in like books and lore. It's like the very image of it was enough to drive you mad.
Right.
And it's like I'm starting to understand more and more how that could be. You know, something that like there's something about the configuration of information that's entering your brain that just short circuits it.
Right.
Like it makes more sense than it used to. Because at first I'm like, look at these weak bitches. They just see some stuff. And they freaking get all nuts. What is it? Show it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What you saw a picture and that sent you into a
yeah.
So
It's like what? Your dog eats your homework too? What other excuses you got? Oh man, crazy
So
man.
Yeah.
What's your overall feel for the season?
Yeah.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank it? 1 being absolute rubbish, 10 being the greatest thing.
Give it a good 7.5 or an 8, probably.
Yeah.
So it's nothing amazingly groundbreaking in there to really push it past an 8, maybe 7.5. But the Queen episode's really good.
Queen is great.
Yeah. When you see
is amazing.
Yeah. When you see that second to last episode, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? This is really cool. But then, the ending is oh. So.
Wow, it's rough. Yeah,
it's a lot of good stuff.
We see it all the time,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you have that where it's like someone does an amazing thing. She's flipping around on the uneven bars, and then she does a little flip at the end. Oh my God, it's amazing. Then she hits, and then she steps forward a little bit, and you're like, ah.
Damn.
She's like, but what I did for the last 5 minutes was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, but you stepped forward at the end when you landed.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect.
Yeah. You know what? This would have been fine, but you stepped forward.
Yeah, you should have done that at the end.
Wiped out. You can wipe out on a wave, and you failed at wave riding, right? Because because you've fallen off your board. Like this place, you just take a few inches too much because of momentum and all that other stuff. And fuck, I missed it. I could have got all 10s, but I got 7s.
That's the danger when you enter something like a Stephen King type world and universe. You got this masterful writer who's creating all this beautiful lore and stuff, and it's like, better be careful, man. That dismount's tricky. You got some people who are used to quality around here. You know?
It's great. Well, this is the kind of, we're talking King universe stuff. There's a whole bunch of things that's thrown out in the King universe that kind of gets picked up here and there. And I haven't read all of his books. His library is so huge, but there's some fun stuff in there too. The idea of Pet Cemetery. It's fun to think of it as mystery and Indian burial ground stuff. But in the King universe, actually the reasoning, the thing that's causing the resurrection in the Pet Cemetery is actually another creature, something called the Wendigo. And the Wendigo is this thing that has control over death, but it's this big fucking creature that's got fangs and a tail and all kinds of shit.
Man, this is so awesome. I'm gonna get those audiobooks. I'm always having excuses, but you know what? I got lots. Even though I don't have a ton of time to read, I got lots of time to listen.
Dude.
Yeah. When you're running.
Finish the last 3 or 4.
But I think that's a great thing about I think people are finding a lot of time now, so this is cool. But I think more than anything about the series and whatnot, us talking about these sideways steps in the universe and all this, it's oh yeah, man, it does inspire you to go out and watch some Stephen King, so that's cool.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Stephen King is a fun author. A lot of people hate on Stephen King, and they consider him they don't consider him in the pantheon of great writers.
Right.
It's I wouldn't consider him up there with all these wonderful writers, but all his popular stuff is everybody knows his material and who he is.
Oh, yeah.
When I was looking through his,
he's not a GOAT writer, but I mean, you shouldn't leave him off of any greatest lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fact that looking
of his stuff is so much fun.
Looking at his Wikipedia page of films and TV shows, there's a Stephen King movie or TV show happening every year for the past 40 years.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
See, once again, what kind of standards do we have? You know what I mean? It's just this is what you have to live up to. 40 years of bangers.
Yeah.
Speaking of too high standards, 6.5 is what I would give this show.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
I actually found the first half of the season to be a little bit boring. It picked up in the second half. It had 2 banger fucking episodes.
Yeah.
The Queen, I thought, was just so amazingly well executed. And the ending of it, honestly, they could have ended the season there, and I would have just been what a finale.
Yeah.
It didn't answer any of my questions, but God, that ending was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Henry Deaver episode was also just incredible storytelling. And it answered like so many of the questions, and then it had one more episode to do it. And the way that it ended, it's just like, hey, you know all those questions that we answered last episode? Maybe we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that definitely set some people on edge, and it would set anybody, because like your experience with this is all like, you lied to me, and that's what you're taking away from it.
Like I don't want to say that it was Wanted the comic book, which is a comic book that ends with the author telling you "fuck you" for reading.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But
for nerds.
I feel like the ending did not respect us as an audience.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you mean, and I don't disagree with you there. Like it does feel like, they built up all this stuff in the penultimate, and that's where like they situated this fucking cool concept, and they just kind of snatched it and were like, just kidding, this guy's a liar, and he's still that original thing we thought he was.
Like again, if they had done any groundwork in like poking holes into the story that they gave us in episode 9, then the fact that at the end of episode 10 they said, oh, maybe that was a lie, that would go down much smoother.
Right.
But I don't think that episode 9 itself gave us any reason to question it.
Yeah.
They put all of the questioning into episode 10.
Right. Yes, and it was just a weird decision in how they presented all that information. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because in episode 9, it really feels like everything's paying off. Like you have all these references and everything in all these other episodes, so it feels like it's paying off really well. And like it's been worth my time to have watched all this stuff. And then they're like, was it though?
Episode 10 says like, hey, that your favorite episode, done cop.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear us again?
Yeah, I'm back. I just had to go closer to my computer, so I'm away from my little setup.
Your cool monkey painting.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
But no.
What would you give it, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Chad. I was like, yes, six, somewhere between 6 and a 7 seemed pretty good. Probably more towards the 6 in my case, because I'm one of those people that like, just like with Lost, it's like, don't make me curious about all this cool stuff.
If you're not gonna pay it off, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they didn't even have to go all the way into the total lore of the town. Like, I get it. Like, you got to read a few books if you want to hear the whole thing, But like, at least with like the motivations of the Reverend, like whose voice was he hearing? All it's like, I didn't like all these unanswered questions. I don't know. I thought they could have given us better resolution on that. And yeah, it does leave you. Like I said, the bad feeling is. You know how there's those folks who say like when you write, like everything should be important. Yeah. And back in the day when people made films, it really was. And this even happens in animation. Like they have to draw every single frame. You think they're just wasting your time with needless visuals? Right. It's like, like that's why like people get so deep in a show like Adventure Time, because they've thought about everything because it's so meticulous, the creation of it. And I think that's why like the episodes like that are just kind of a fly in the face. It's like, I lied to you, or this was all a dream, or whatever it is. It's like, I don't find that that's very often satisfying for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you. Yeah,
but until that was the case, though, and this is why, like I said, it's still above average, is because like, I don't know, I wasn't like Chad was right. It was a little slow to start, but like, it was engaging enough. It's like they find this boy, the warden kills himself. It's like for me, it started off interesting enough where I'm like, okay, they're opening up some cool doors here. Yeah. I could go through this whole. I could watch a season of this. All right, this is cool. And then it kept and then they made things more interesting without necessarily like bringing in all these random characters. That's why like where it started to get jarring for me actually was that couple, right? The murder couple.
Oh,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that really necessary?
No, that was like what other? It didn't really have a purpose, but to give us stakes for Henry Deaver having to get the information he needed at that point in the story.
Right.
Because
It couldn't have just been like the old family moved out years ago. He just walks downstairs and gets info.
yeah.
Maybe he has like a draft of cold air, and he's like, "What is that?" And then still gets the thing. But no, they have to give him like they have to build up these two out of towners that are just like that started off as business people and became murderers.
Yeah, they're the real Nikki and Paulo of Castle Rock.
Definitely. That's in there too. I swear to God, there's a Bible. There's a Bad Robot Bible that most of its shows kind of adhere to.
Dude, that's so funny. You're right. Yeah, but you know what I mean. But it's and it's things like that just kind of turned me off. Where I was just like, like Chad said, he's like, all right, I'm on to watch something else now that's on my multitude. And that's the standards we have now.
Right.
Like before, it was just like, I am going to be vegging out every evening when I get home from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I'm just going to go through and I just need to see all my familiar characters that I always see every Thursday. Yeah. You know, we don't want that anymore. We want like rich stories. And so you got to trim all the fat. In fact, that's the thing that I think is so cool about modern day viewers is like, if you trimmed all the fat in the show and be like, look, there's only 3 episodes, but it's the bomb. It's like, that's why people like the first couple of seasons of Sherlock on the BBC. They didn't play around. It was like 2 episodes, 3 episodes a season, but it told a story. There was no fat on any episode, and then you're done.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that was like that, Castlevania on Netflix. The first season was like 3 episodes or something like that.
Wow.
You got the whole full functioning story within that, those few episodes. It ends in a weird cutoff point, but it's quick. It gets you in, gets you out.
You're better off nowadays with stuff like that. You are, because in the same way that someone could just binge watch your whole season and that feels kind of weird, and I understand that people are probably like, look, I'm not going to pay you, but it's also like a song. When someone's like, I wrote a song, you'd be like, bitch, that shit ain't even 5 minutes long. You didn't write a song. Like nobody says that, right? Like sometimes you're punk rock, sometimes you're Iron Butterfly. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just right. But like I think we should really start looking at stories that way. Some stories you tell in this amount of time. Yeah. Sometimes you need 7 novels. Yeah. I don't know.
Sometimes it only needs to be like 5 minutes, like a Quibi length story.
But
just watch a video. No, they should make a service about that.
There's some real good ones like that too, I think. And it's like, it's almost like a genre on itself. Like when you can kind of tell that story in that time by keeping other aspects of it limited. Like you just realize, like, I'm going to just strip away. I don't need to build worlds. I don't need to do all this. I'm going to play on some basic human things, and we're just going to tell this one little thing. I don't know. So But see, we're obviously being critical of this, but like, man, the quality at which I'm able to be critical of things, it's just like, it's so ridiculous.
The bar has been raised like
the
so
bar
many
is
times.
so high.
Yeah, it's crazy now, and I get what you mean, and I think a lot of what you were mentioning about like, there's all this extra fluff or the fat that wasn't trimmed that we get in there. I feel like a lot of that is like either the showrunner or the director or whatever that like just kind of like filling themselves too much, or they're just like, I got to put my stank on this. I got to put my move on this, and like, so they have all this, and then like maybe you have some pensive side plot, or some weird thing that they try to cover, or some concept or something.
An idea that was like, originally it played a big part. Maybe that couple did have some integral part, but they ended up cutting that without cutting it all. So it's just like, because they had to, the actors had their contract and they had to be in at least. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like
a bunch of stuff from the cutting room floor that we didn't see. I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah, it's a business, I remind myself of that too, and it's the entertainment business, and there's going to be some sacrifices. Like,
I'm gonna have to, but it is so annoying when it's just like, oh, this is not a tight story. It's like we have time to talk about somebody's fucking cat. Like, all right, but You know, I get it. But strange.
Yeah. So AJ, what's your rating? What do you think?
I'd give this a 6.8.
Okay.
So I wouldn't put it at quite a 7. It's not that I don't dislike this, but all the stuff that we're building toward was kind of meandering. They could have got to some of the stuff quicker.
Yeah.
And I would like to kind of have them play more in that sideways reality. And if they were going to find out that he was a liar, I'd rather them find that out like maybe 3 episodes before the ending.
Yeah.
So we have them playing in that space, not at the very end where I know they just wanted to have that as like the little Twilight Zone-y go fuck yourself twist at the end. But you know, because maybe they had that in mind too. But even so, it didn't pay off fully, and it does have hallmarks of like, you know, either we had to cut a bunch of shit and some stuff just doesn't make sense now, or we had a story that we were building towards, but we ended up focusing on this. And the second season gets far less focused. Like, if you thought this is kind of weird, the second season has got like 5 or 6 plot lines going on all at once, and they don't all intersect the way you want them to.
That kind of what you just said kind of made me think too. Like, one thing they could have done is they could have played more into like the looper needing to close the timelines to make things balanced. Because remember, there was this aspect where it's like, look, if it goes down this way, this person dies. If it goes down this way, this person dies. Because there has to be this cosmic balance, right? And maybe that would have been a fun way to kind of like shore it up if they focus on like, look, these two guys cannot coexist in the same timeline.
So one of these divas are gonna have to die.
You know, something like that. That would have fit more in with everything else I had just seen. Like, there has to be an evenness to the universes that they coexist. But when you look at the sum total of all of them, there's a balance. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you can get around having to kill one if you have it like properly caged the right way.
Yeah, something like that.
Like you can build like some sort of special containment where it's like you can let it live, but it needs to stay caged.
Yes. But just, you know, but that's what I'm saying. Like I said, there are rules, there are orders, and it was about discovering that phenomenon and then achieving the harmony. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, everyone, that's been our...
But slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
But
you know what? We've been watching Lost for years, and it's not too different from how people feel about Lost.
I don't think that this ending was anywhere near as big a ending problem as Lost was.
Yeah. No, I hear what you mean.
You guys have to talk about that first.
Yeah, so if you want to listen to us talk about Lost, what's up with that, bro? Follow us. Listen to our podcast. Thank you all for watching for 10 hours with us. Anyone who's been doing that and who's taken the time to maybe watch this later or whatever and want us to watch it. That's awesome.
Thank you for donating.
Yes. We are grand total $135 raised to go to St. Baldrick's. So that's $135 they wouldn't have had without you guys. So thank you for that. They're awesome. And
we'll be back with more episodes of What's Up With That, Bro? Soonish. But we will also be back the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, that's the plan. Yeah.
And so you'll see more of us then.
Yeah, with the leftovers. We eat our Thanksgiving leftovers.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us again, Anthony.
Anytime.
Stepping in.
Thanks,
4 episodes with us.
Dude,
that was great.
Always the good help at the end. You're our favorite closer.
Yeah.
Doesn't help us
so
so strong.
Previous guests that were on earlier today, we started off with Ben St. John, Johnny Sparkles, Joe Lewis,
Autumn.
Autumn. Thank you so much, Autumn.
And
Dan the Goody Man.
Dan the Goody Man.
Dan the Goody Man.
All right, friend the bars. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys all. Thank you very much for being a part of this. We really appreciate it. Yeah, so this has been a lot of fun. And I got a chance to stay in my murder gear all day
long. And I'm obviously have my makeup that looks like something. It's a mess now.
At one point, it was very clearly Pennywise makeup,
Right.
and now it's like Joker.
Yeah,
Question mark?
I think
There
so.
you go.
I keep touching my face too much and just smearing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just not made to have makeup on because skin. I can feel there's stuff on my skin, and you keep touching it.
Mhm. But yeah, it looks like that like kind of faded makeup that
Yeah.
Joker had in Dark Knight.
So yeah, if anyone asks, that's what my Halloween costume is. Now I gotta go sneak into my wife's room and wake her
If
up.
anyone asks, that's how you got those scars.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Thank you
a
guys.
lot of fun,
Thank
guys.
you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you around.
All right, I'll check you guys later. Take care.